Alright, welcome to Scofield and Winter Quarters, Utah by Scofield Reservoir, Utah. Alright, so we are here today to explore this area and see what we can find. We're hoping to get into Winter Quarters, as that's an old ghost town with a history that we'll explain a little bit later. But here in front of me is a working mine that's still going. And here up is some of the mining tailings that they bring up here. There's a road that goes from the mine straight up to this area here, so we're thinking this is where they bring all some, maybe not all, but some of the mining tailings. It's pretty windy today, so we're going to head back down this hill and keep exploring. Alright, let's head back down. So we headed back down the road a little ways and came across some old mine tailings. There's an old mine here on the left here. This is some water coming out of the mine. You can see a rail from the mine coming out there, and then down there is the old train that used to take the ore out of the mine and take it into the big cities. You can see up here this indent where the mine used to be before it was dynamited and caved in. Here on the left is the wall that was holding up the mine. And I'm going to look down here. You're going to see a rail coming out of the ground here. And then on the right, up above these trees here, there's another wall that we'll show you here in just a second. But I kind of want to get around and kind of show you more of the tailings. But yeah, right over there is the wall. Alright, so this is the first mine. Unfortunately, we couldn't explore it because it was caved. Alright, we were a little bit further down following the train tracks, and we came across this old shack right here. It's been almost completely demolished, and literally behind it and around these hillside here are some old tailings from some mines that have been collapsed. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go into any of them, so they're all collapsed here. You can see some of the dirt coming out of the mountain and the sides here. There's some old railings kind of spread out around this area as well. So unfortunately, we did not get to go into a mine here, so we're a little disappointed, but I guess that's just what happens over time, especially on a main road. They don't want anybody to go into these mines. But you can see the old shack. There's some more old broken down foundations and walls here. So there was something here at one time. Alright, so this is the main reason we actually came down here, was to visit Winter Quarters. And Winter Quarters is actually about a quarter-mile out here in this canyon. Fortunately, we can't get to it because they have it gated off. It is now private property. I don't know exactly who owns it, but I have no idea how to gain access to it. So we're kind of just stuck here about a quarter-mile away. But out in that canyon is the city of Winter Quarters that is now a complete ghost town. It was established in about 1875 due to mining success up in the mountains on the left there. In fact, they opened what was called the Winter Quarters Mine. The significance of this town is that in the year 1900, there was a mine explosion in the Winter Quarters mine where 200 miners died instantly in the explosion. At the time, it was the worst mining accident in history. Today, it is now the 5th worst mining accident in history. If you look in front of me here, this is the gate that is blocking us from coming in. And it's really frustrating. But anyway, if you look back out here, there are tons of pictures from this time period of when this town was booming and when there was hundreds of people living here. There's pictures from when the accident occurred and from the time before as well. So I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of history about this, and maybe someday I can go in and film a little bit closer and give you guys a better perspective of what happened here in the history. But I think it's fascinating, so thank you for that. Alright, we'll head over to the graveyard next. Alright guys, we're here in Scofield, Utah, and this is the Scofield Graveyard. This graveyard's been used for many years, so there's tons of graves here. But I do want to point out that there are some graves from the mining disaster. Some of the miners were buried here permanently, and a lot of them have these wooden headstones with their name carved in the top, and then it says, here is all, if you guys look at it, killed May 1st, 1900 in Scofield mine disaster, Winter Quarters. And I'm going to show you guys this other one too. So they all look very similar. There's some behind this on the left side you can see that are just like this, more victims from the mining accident. And there's other miners who are buried here as well that have different headstones. But this just kind of gives you an idea. There's probably, I would say, about maybe 30 or 40 that are buried here from the mining disaster. It kind of looks over, the graveyard itself kind of looks over the town, and it's a beautiful area. So I wanted to show you guys this real quick. We were on our way out and we came across this interesting shack. At first we thought it was a jail just because when you look inside It actually looks like it has some shackles up against the wall here if you look in the back there. I don't really know what it is. There's actually a jail in the city of Scofield, so I doubt they'd have two jails, but I guess you never know. I don't know what else it could be though. But it's kind of a cool building up here on this hill.